Good morning, fifth grade. Happy Wednesday. Today we are going to be working on chapter 11.2, and today we are focusing solely on triangles. So there are two ways to classify triangles. The first way I'm going to show you here. You can classify triangles by their sides. So there's three different ways to classify triangles by their sides. So we have the isosceles triangle. The isosceles triangle means that there's two sides that are exactly the same, okay? The next one is an equilateral triangle. That means that there are three sides of the triangle that are the same, so all sides are congruent. And the last triangle is the scalene triangle. This means that all of the sides of the triangle are different, okay? So there's three different ways to classify triangles by their sides. The second way that you're able to classify a triangle is by their angles, okay? So looking at this first triangle here, this is called a right triangle. It has a directly up and down and side to side, making a perfect square there in the corner. That is 90 degrees, right triangle. Acute means that you have degrees less than 90. How I like to think of this is I like to think of it as a cute little triangle. So all of the angles are less than 90 degrees on an acute triangle. An obtuse triangle can be anything. An obtuse triangle has a degrees greater than 90 in it. So as you can see in this triangle here, you can see that we have an angle 130 degrees that is greater than 90 degrees. So an obtuse angle, I like to think of it as absolutely big. Obtuse, absolutely big, greater than 90. So now that we've covered that, we have three ways to classify triangles by their angles. And we have three ways to classify triangles by their sides. So two ways in general, which equals sides and angles, but do not confuse that with how many there are in each. There are three in each. So now I'm going to move on to this tricky little question that it's going to ask you today with your personal math trainer. It says, suppose you drew two equilateral triangles that are congruent and share a side. So we just learned that equilateral means that all sides are the same. So it's saying, what if you drew them side by side? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let one share that side. So if we look at this and I take a different color here, this can also be known as a quadrilateral because there are now four sides here. So we formed a quadrilateral with two triangles. The next question asks us, we learned about polygons yesterday, so this is building on what we learned yesterday. The next question says, the polygon formed blank a regular polygon. So is this a regular or a not regular? I'm thinking back to yesterday and I'm remembering that a regular polygon has to have all of the angles and all of the sides the same. So in this case, we do have each side that is the same. But if I look here, fifth grade, I see this is a cute little angle, and this is an obtuse angle because it's bigger than 90. So this is not regular polygon. And the reasoning that they ask us, it says because, and the reasoning is because it has different angles. Hope that makes sense. So this last question that I wanted to go over with you, okay? It says, classify the triangles. So today, 5th grade, when you are going to be classifying triangles, you are always going to have to do a name for the side, and you're always going to have to classify it by an angle. So if we look at this, we have 2 lines here. That means it shares 2 equal sides. I'm thinking back to my side slide here, and I'm looking and I see that my 2 equal sides is known as an isosceles triangle. So this is known as an isosceles triangle, but I'm not done there. I have to now describe the angle. I look at my angle here and it's less than 90 degrees, and I know that these are also both less than 90 degrees. So this is known as, for the angle, an acute, because it's a cute little angle less than 90 degrees. So if I were to just say this name out loud, it would be an isosceles, comma, acute triangle. Okay, so that is how you would classify that. Okay, I'm going to kind of go on a whim here, and I'm going to just add another slide, and I'm going to draw a triangle here. So this triangle, we're going to figure out what it is going to be called. That's supposed to be a little bit of a straight line. Okay, so I drew a triangle. It has a square here in the side. This is 12 centimeters. This is 7 centimeters, and this is 10 centimeters. I have to first name it by its sides, and then I have to name it by its angle. So I look at all these, and these are all different lengths. So if I go back to my sides, I look here and I look for my triangle with all different lengths. It's a scalene triangle, okay? So my side is going to be scalene, and my angle is going to be a right angle, because I go back to my angle classifications and I see there, if there's a square, if it's completely straight up and down, that's 90 degrees, and that's known as a right triangle. So if I were saying this out loud, I would call it a scalene right triangle. Okay, let's do one more. So there's a lot of questions that don't even have pictures, 5th grade, and you have to read the questions and kind of think for yourself on your feet and describe what those pictures are going to look like. So something may say a triangle has 2 sides that are the same, and a triangle has angles of 25 degrees, 60 degrees, and 75 degrees. That makes sense, because let me just do one thing. Erase that quick. So I'm going to change this up a little bit. We have 2 25s and a 60. So I go back to my chart here. I look for 2 sides that are the same. It's the isosceles. So now I can go back and label it. So side is isosceles, and angle, I look at my degrees here and they're all less than 90. So that means it's a cute little angle. So this is an isosceles acute triangle that they're describing. So when you're doing your work today, 5th grade, you're going to have to read the question step by step. And as you're reading, I would suggest drawing it on paper so that you can have it in front of you and describe what you're seeing on your paper. I hope that gives you a little introduction, and I hope that a lot of you are enjoying these lessons. I think that it's a great way to help prepare you for the lesson ahead each day. So I'll see you tomorrow.